Okay guys, here's another 10-minute review of a game played by one of my students. In this case, again, it's Skywalker 7 playing on OGS. 13Q is Skywalker 7 against an 11Q player. Skywalker 7 is black, and this is an interesting game to me because I looked at the game record, and at the end of the game, it's not spoiling anything to say that actually Skywalker 7 resigns, and I wasn't sure why he resigned, and that's why I wanted to do this review. Now, when we're playing Go, particularly when we're playing Go online, there can be all sorts of reasons we resign that have nothing to do with the game. It could be the phone rang, or somebody knocked at the door, or a friend dropped by. There are all sorts of reasons why you might resign the game, and I haven't had a chance to speak to Skywalker to say why did you resign this one. But we'll go through the game and then take another look at the ending, on the assumption that he resigned because of the position on the board, which, as I say, may not be true. The other thing that's about this game is actually Skywalker plays some great moves, some really excellent moves, positional moves throughout the opening. So let's just get into the game. So here we go. So Skywalker 7 is black, upper right corner 4-4. White plays the lower right 4-4. Black takes the upper left 4-4. And white takes the lower right 4-4, all pretty normal. And what we've got here is a Moyo game with two opposing Moyos, one on the top and one on the lower side. So black does a knight move approach to the lower corner, lower right corner, and white develops with a two-space jump, all pretty comfortable. Black slides in, and I'm expecting white to protect the corner at R3, but white doesn't. White comes out. So white's looking to build a high position on the lower side. Black jumps. It's not wrong, this. I think it's quite an ambitious jump by black. Normally we would expect to see this one here, but given that white hasn't protected Sansan, the R3 court point in the corner, that's perfectly good. And white develops again on the side, so white is making a big play about points on the lower side and making them super secure. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 25 points there, and the 3 times 8 is under those 3 stones on the 4-4. So black takes the Sansan, which I think is fine if white reacts, and white does. Not the obvious reaction I'd have expected the descent. And now, to my eye, white is starting to look a little bit over concentrated, but then black is too. So black comes in to that Moyo over on the left side, which is a bold move. It's bold because it gives white lots of options. If white were to kick like this and black comes up, then white can extend, and black's way too crowded in here because of the presence of this stone. So it was a slightly dangerous invasion by black because of the crowding that's taking place, although it would break up that white lower side. So black comes in here. White approaches from the outside, again protecting this, and now white is definitely over concentrated on that lower side, and black jumps in for the corner. White descends, and again, if we're following Joseki theory, I would expect to see black simply block in this direction if that's the direction that black wants to come. But in this case, Skywalker 7 Haned under, white Haned. Black then pushed out, sacrificing the D2 stone in the event. This was quite an interesting move. White takes that stone and black ignores and comes around the other side. So white bends, making an empty triangle, and black comes out along the side. And white comes out, and black then jumps. So now what we can see is actually the position for black is very good, because white has got this territorial area on the lower side. But black has sketched out 2 looser Moyos, one here and one here, and that's kind of an interesting development. I like black position much more than white. To my mind, white is super over concentrated. White has played every stone that it's played so far onto the lower side of the board, and I just think that's too much in one area for the opening. Anyway, let's move on. So white plays yet another stone to inoculate the black stone at F3, and then black plays the forcing move in the corner. White answered, and then black takes this big move. At this point, my hat is off to Skywalker 7. It's a fantastic opening for black, and if we just look at that position as it is, we can see that black's now dominating the board. White has this very concentrated territorial area. It's not even a moyo, it's territory. That is territory on the lower side, but we have to ask how much is there. We go 1, 2, say 3 points here by 4, by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's a 40-point territory the white has got. But black's potential on the two sides of the board and now the top side is way in excess of 40 points, and white has no presence elsewhere. So white comes in here. Again, if it was me here, I would simply kick that stone because it's a similar joseki to the one that we've seen here. I'm not sure what black does in the game, or we'll see. Yeah, black does kick. I was going to say the kick sequence would be here, black, white up, black develop here, and then again white's got no room here. This is way too cramped and crowded for white. Even if white comes a little further, that's what's going to happen, and I think that's what we get in the game. Yeah, this is actually the game sequence now. So black kicks, white comes up, black extends, and can we see now how the right side is really turning into territory? And there we've got 19 times 3 down to say 6, so we've got 36 points in this area between the RST lines down to 7. So we've equalled the points that white has got, plus we've got the rest of the black stones. White does this slide down here, and black blocks, and then white is making a base, trying to make eye shape for its stones, and black blocks, and that's correct. And then white ataris the stone, and the move for black here, and this is the first mistake that Ash has made in this game, Skywalker 7, is not to simply connect here, because if black simply connects, then white has got nowhere to go. The white stone here is still under the threat of Atari, and if white protects that, which by a tiger mouth, black can still take that eye out there, and white is really struggling for eye space here. What black did, and it was in the game, was this move, which meant that white could take, and then black could take, and white connected again, which is bad shape for white, but then black's got this cutting point here, so white can now live in the corner because of that mistake, and that's the difference between simply blocking here, and that puts the white stone under threat. And notice white can't push here because there's a simple Atari and then a protect. This is of no risk at all. So back to the game, white takes, black Ataris, white connects, and then black makes shape on the other side. So again, white has reduced black a little bit on the right in this area here, because black's got lots of points in the corner, but now this whole area is looking super strong, so this is clearly black's game. White invades. This is white creating yet another weak group. The group on the right hand side at the top isn't yet secure. This group here is still not yet got eyes, but white's creating another one, so black blocks the corner, which is excellent. White comes up. Black Hanes, always hammer on the head of 2 stones. I think it's an excellent move by Ash. White makes a very horrible empty triangle there, the one that we hate so much. Black makes a shape move for its stones in the middle. I think black started to worry about those stones being cut off in the centre between the two white groups. White turns, black makes a territory move, so this is when you're out on the 5th line and you're making 4 points of stone, and by that I mean here, each stone that black plays is adding 4 points to black's total. So these 2 stones here have added in 10 points. Whereas white's 2 stones, the last 2 white stones white's played, have added nothing. White comes out again. Black jumps, which is okay. I think I would have just played a little bit more solidly, but it's a small point. And then white comes under. The Hane at h18 would be the natural move here, and by the natural move is this one, because then white would have to back off, and then black could come down here, and this cutting point doesn't work for white because of this sequence, so there's no sequence there for white. But in the event, black pushed in, white connected under, and black came down, And then first white ataried these 2 stones, but they've got there's no ladder here because h15 acts as a ladder breaker. So black moves towards its ladder breaker, and white comes up again, and black connects again. And then white goes back and fixes its shape by connecting the 2 groups like this. And then black comes out, making sure that these stones can connect to these stones, so that black's all connected. White pushes in to try and bridge under the 2 groups at K19. White wants to bridge under at this point, and so connect on the left, the stones on the left and the stones on the right. But black plays this move, which I thought was slightly strange. I think missed the direction of play here. There's no threat going on here. The obvious move, to my mind, for black at this point is something like this, just to simply keep these groups apart. And we'll see what happens next. We're almost there now. So black comes out, slightly soft move. Not sure what black was worried about. So white does this. Now that reduces black to 2 liberties. Black turns to gain liberties, so black's now got 4 liberties, and white connects underneath. And black comes out, and white comes out. And at that point, that's the point in the game after move 70 that black resign. Now, as I said at the start, I don't know the reasons for the resign, but I just want to look at this game and look at this ending, because there was no need for black to resign in this game. If after that move black plays 1, like this, black's threatening to connect all of its stones in the centre of the board. So if white answers here, like this, then black simply starts a ladder. And that ladder, without having to do too much work, we can see is going to go over here and hit this ladder breaker. That's a great ladder for black, and so white's position is shattered. But more importantly, black is building this super strong position in the centre. Okay, so what happens if after this move white doesn't connect? What if white, rather than connecting, pushes out the other way? Well, then black can connect here, and that's an Atari, and it's probably an Atari that white can't tolerate, so white connects. And then the same ladder starts up again. Black plays here once, and white turns. Then black starts the ladder in this direction, here, 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 and there goes the ladder and the kill. So again, black has completely shattered white's position. White may be able to grovel a bit and create an eye here and an eye here, but black's position out here now is completely dominant, complete with this position here. So that's the game. That's the 10-minute review. Sometimes we make a move. This was the position when Skywalker 7 resigned. He obviously looked at that position and thought that this black group here was cut and doomed, and this black group here was separated and doomed, and that white had got a dominant position. But actually black had more points on the board, and both ladders were good. You just need to go in, look a little deeper, try and read out those sequences, and I'm sure looking at them now it's easy to see that actually white would not in the game have let black connect, and so white would have played this one, and then the ladder starts because of the liberties, and all is good. Black is safe and secure. Okay, that's 10 minutes. Thanks for that, guys. I hope that's instructive. Black's play in that game was almost exemplary, really super play by Skywalker 7, and just needed to read a little bit deeper at that. The big moyo at the start of the game, over concentrating white on the bottom, all fantastic. Okay, thanks. See you soon. Bye for now.